up, plant fam? It is your girl Lauren here, and welcome back to another video. As promised, it is part two of my official houseplant tour. I have gotten so much love and comments and everything on the part one video. Thank you guys so much for the views, the likes, and just your overall support on that video. I am just completely blown away by this community and this entire family, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I am just so ecstatic. If you haven't seen that part one video, I will leave it up here and in the description for you guys to check out. But this is part two. As you can tell, I am in a new location. I am filming in my living room right now, which I thought was only fitting for this video. You will see the remaining plants in my living room, as well as my living room slash dining area, which is about 30 more plants or so. I have 70 plants in my collection currently, but again, thank you guys for the love. If you love this video, please let me know, and let's get to it. Here is just an overview of my living room. I really went for the wooden, rustic, rattan vibes combined with the industrial feel of the black to give it a really nice structure. I really love how my living room turned out, and I can't wait to show you guys. So just some indoor accents. I have my artwork from Aaron Aspley. This is the philodendron species poster print along with the crystallinum. I just have kind of a wooden section right here. I love this lamp. Shout out to Target. And then the same kind of vibe with my artwork and my couch. Now let's go on to my grow light shelf. This is the same grow light shelf that you saw in my old apartment, and this area does not get light at all, so obviously I have to supplement it with grow lights. And a lot of these plants right here are just really chill plants that aren't finicky to humidity. So first up is my philodendron micans. This plant just literally needs nothing from you, absolutely nothing, and it just thrives. I actually took so many cuttings from this plant, which are right there along with my little Silchopicana cutting that I told you guys about. It just gives you the world. This is the fastest growing plant in my collection, and that combined with the velvety suede feel of this plant, it's a win-win, honestly. Next up is my Calathea medallion, and let me pull it out, guys, so you can get a closer view. It has gotten so lush, let me tell you. This Calathea, in my opinion, I think I have like 4 or 5 Calatheas or plants in the Stromanthe Calathea family. This one is the easiest. It doesn't require a lot of humidity. Yes, it gets humidity from all the plants near it, but it's not next to humidifier. And as you can see, there's like no brown tips in here. I love this plant. It's always pushing out new growth, as you can see, and I love it. It just does its thing. Such an easy Calathea. Next up is my philodendron Birkin. Now, this plant has been through the rough of it, let me tell you. It had spider mites and root rot and was really troubled with fungus gnats. However, it's really adapted extremely well. You can see some of the older leaves are struggling a little bit. This one's all green. This one has just kind of some damage, but ever since then, just so many stripes and striations like a Birkin is supposed to look, which is awesome. Lastly is my Rhaphiphedora tetrasperma. I don't really have anything to say about this plant, guys. It's a super fast grower as well. This is one of the oldest plants that I have from Buchanan's. It was the first nursery tour that I did, and it has grown so fast. As you can see, it's like splitting out in 2 separate directions, which is kind of crazy. I'll have to cut it back since it's winter and figure out what I'm going to do, but that is this plant. This is the next shelf tier down. I already showed you all my micans cuttings that are growing very well and propagating, along with this cutest little siltpecana cutting. This plant is just a weird looking plant. It is my philodendron scandens, my philodendron hederaceum, my heartleaf philodendron. This plant is just really interesting because its energy is being pulled 2 places. It's growing heart-shaped leaves along this trailing vine, but in here it's just been growing a lot of tiny little hearts. And I really want it to be like uniform size because this area, as you can tell, is just full, but this area is just kind of, you know, lacking. If I turn it this way, you can see how full it is, but I don't know. This plant is actually a pretty slow grower for me, which I think is really surprising since my micans just grows super fast. But this is another plant that's been with me for a long time in my Buchanan's haul. Speaking of my Buchanan's haul is my Peperomia obtusifolia marble. I mentioned this in my end of summer plant growth video, but this plant is the easiest plant ever. Out of all the plants I have in my collection, this hands down takes the cake as just the easiest plant you can have. Peperomias need nothing from you. Absolutely nothing, but I love just the big kind of circle petals you get in this plant, the different array of colors, and like I said, it reminds me of a tree. Like a freaking tree, and I love it. Lastly is a plant that I've mentioned a while ago, and I think in my August favorites is my small Peperomia watermelon. This plant is another good one that tells me when it needs to be watered because its leaves get extremely flimsy and floppy. You can really see those silver sheens and that watermelon vibe, along with the pink petioles. So another easy plant. It grows super fast and I absolutely love it. Okay, this is the last tier on this shelf. I have an orchid, a variegated ZZ, and 2 syngoniums, which I know is so weird. So this is my variegated ZZ. I got this from Begana Pot Plants as well. Watch that video if you want more of a backstory, but I was having a hard time rooting this plant. It did get a lot of root rot. However, I checked yesterday because I wanted to tell you guys during this video, but it is rooted and I am extremely happy. This was actually one stem that I completely cut into 2, and both of them are rooted along with this tiny little leaf right there. I'm super stoked about that. This is just your regular Phalaenopsis orchid. I got this orchid from Whole Foods and I'm still keeping it because it will grow back beautiful leaves in the spring and summertime. I know it doesn't look like much now, but it will. Next up is another syngonium that I love, and it is my Syngonium Pink Confetti. And I think it's pretty obvious why I love this, guys, because I am a fan of pink, and I know this really isn't variegation. I'm not a syngonium expert by any means. I don't know if you would call these little pink patches variegation or just patches and spots, but I think this is the cutest dainty plant. This is my second favorite syngonium. Obviously, if I had to rank it, it would be my Alba, which you guys have seen before and you're about to see, then my pink confetti, then my Syngonium aria, and then my pink syngonium right there. But this is my favorite syngonium after the Alba. Lastly is this wonky girl, my pink syngonium. She has a lot of soil on her, sorry guys, but she just has a more whimsical nature to her leaves. They're not really uniform. They're kind of curly and just kind of grow everywhere. Like in comparison to my pink confetti, You can tell just the leaves are more structured, more flat. This one is just kind of all over the place, but I still stand with her, you know? I still stand with her. I love the pink. That's the reason why I got it, and that's basically it. So these are my other two syngonium babies. Out of everywhere in my new apartment, this section is the prettiest section I am most proud of. I am just chilling in my college t-shirt, and you guys can't see my face, but hello. However, I love this. I got this huge rattan dresser from Urban Outfitters. I have a lot of miscellaneous stuff in there, but let's get going with the good stuff. I mentioned that I separated my painted lady into two, and this is the other rooted cutting. So it's just chilling right here. Overall, this is obviously a west facing window, but as you can tell, it's pulled back, so it doesn't get as much sun as all the plants in my bedroom. So these are more medium light plants, or what I've categorized them as of right now in my home. But this is my philodendron painted lady. I'm actually thinking of selling this one since I have so many leaves in my other painted lady cutting, but for right now, that's just chilling. The farthest plant away from my window is my ZZ plant. I have not gotten rid of this plant. I still have it. It's a perfectly healthy, beautiful plant, and the fourth, I think, plant I've ever gotten in my collection. So it's just doing this thing. It doesn't grow that much, obviously, because it's so far back. However, it's getting new buds and growth spurts. You can see especially right there, those two, and it's just straight chilling. Next to it, moving another level, is my Sansevieria laurentii. Again, one of the first 4 or 3 plants I got. These two are from Modern Garden, and it's just chilling. And I can tell when this plant is growing because it now covers part of the mirror, which it didn't do before. It has some pups in here, but I barely water this thing. I can't even tell you. I'll probably water this like 4 times, and that's it. Next up is my Cereus forbicii spiral cactus. I honestly can't tell if this grows, but I can't tell if this has grown at all, but I mean, it's not dead, and it's just happy. Again, I love all the different colors of the green, the teal, and the blue. It's a gorgeous cactus, to be honest. Next up, with the same kind of color scheme, is my Scindapsus pictus exotica, a wish list plant. Come on, guys. Look how beautiful this is. Like, holy cow. I got this off eBay at a good price. It was not an auction plant. You could just buy it off of there because I really wanted a full exotica, a trailing exotica, and I have it. It needs to be repotted soon, honestly, but it's growing new leaves for me. This was a new biba leaf. I want the leaves to be as big as the leaves that came from the cellar, but I mean, it's getting there. All of these 3 leaves grew in my care, and here's a new one. So I love this plant so much. Now let's go on to my Hoya shelf. The majority of these are Hoyas, but not all of them. First up is my Hindu rope. And this is the first unboxing I ever did on my channel from Miss Plantarina. It's grown a lot and it's starting to really trail. The last time you saw this plant was in my Hoya collection video, and some of the sparse spots have grown in. I think this was a sparse vine that grew along with this one. So it is filling out quite beautifully. There is this vine that's missing leaves right there along with this one, but it's just a chill plant. I know a lot of people think Hindu ropes are weird, but this girl's straight chillin'. Behind this plant is my other baby, my variegated string of hearts. I'm about to chop and propagate her because this vine is just really getting long, and the gap between the bottom leaves are not as close together as I want. but this has been a plant that's been with me. You guys will be able to see if you watch my, again, end of summer plant growth updates, that you will see how much this plant has grown. Next up is another Hindu rope Hoya that I honestly don't really love, and it's my variegated Hoya. In general, this Hoya against the regular Hindu rope is a lot more finicky. It needs a lot more water. I'm kind of sad because it was a lot fuller on the bottom with a lot of white variegation, and it just plucked off. So this plant is just a little bit of a question mark for me. I still have it because it's beautiful. The newest leaf did grow in that pink color because of the sun stress. I'll see what happens with it. I'm keeping a watchful eye. The next Hoya is another one of my favorite Hoyas. I need to get a trellis, obviously, but it is my Hoya Croniana Eskimo. It was probably, I would say, this long when I got it, and it has grown like triple in length. And I love it. And look at the cutest little baby leaf. I am a huge fan of veiny and splashy Hoyas. I really want a Hoya Matilde splash. It reminds me so much of a Croniana Eskimo. It's maybe why I want it. I'm a huge fan of these tiny little leaves with the splashiness. Like, come on, guys. Come on. And lastly, I'm not going to go over this plant too much, but it is my queen, one of the OGs. I love her. She just gives me so much life. Lastly on this shelf is my Hoya Obovata Splash. I mentioned in my Hoya video, my Hoya collection video, that I had trouble growing this plant, but now that it has better light, honestly, it's just thrived. This is a new leaf, that is a new leaf. These are new leaves as well, as long as the back, and you can tell that there is a vine growing and a little leaf coming out right there. So super happy about that. I'm proud that in the past 3 months, I've really started to understand Hoyas, and they are thriving in my care. This is it, guys. This is the last of my plant collection that I have to show you. And yes, this isn't the most aesthetic setup. It's just literally on a table. But shout out if this table is familiar to you, because this is the table that I would always film on in my old apartment. So I have a couple of calatheas and stromanthe, along with just some random plants. So first of all is my ornata, which is another plant that I got from Miss Planterina. And this plant was my favorite for a long time. It still holds a special place in my heart. I still think the foliage is like the coolest thing ever, honestly. Like, how does a leaf grow these perfect pink stripes? It just looks so fake. It looks so fake, like a painting, and I love it. It's grown super lush, and of course it has the purple backings of its leaves, but I just love it. Again, I'm just a huge fan. All of these calatheas right here aren't very finicky. That's why they are not near my humidifier. All right, next up, I am just gonna have to show you this sad guy. You guys may remember my philodendron white knight, and it got root rot. Yeah, it got root rot, and this is the extent of what I have. I have 2 leaves. This one looks really sad, and it's kind of like browning in the variegation. However, it is growing new roots. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Yeah, the aerial roots are coming, and you can see that root right there. And there is a new leaf coming out. It's probably gonna look really odd, to be honest, but hey, what can you say, right? Next up is the mother plant of my philodendron Florida Beauty. So I took a cutting, I think right here. I took the cutting right here, and now it's back in action and growing leaves. This is the first leaf that grew out ever since I air layered it, and it has, oops, I love how fat it is. I know that's kind of weird to say. My top cutting in my bedroom has more skinny, elongated leaves, but these are definitely just more rounder and fat and wide, but I'm here for it. So if you're scared about air layering your plants, guys, don't be, because they grow back. And here is a new leaf coming out. And I did see, yes, right there, a new activated bud coming out. Next up is another plant I got from Tillery Street Plant Co. And that is my Calathea Roseo Picta Dottie. I just love, like, look at the pink and then the transition to the other colors. It reminds me of a rainbow, to be honest. It reminds me so much of a rainbow, and I'm here for it. Oh my gosh. Look at that, guys, how beautiful it is. And then of course the purple backs. There are no brown edges to this plant, and I'm just here for it. Next up is my favorite syngonium. You guys know this is my baby, my Syngonium elbow. This has been with me for the longest time. It was a one leaf rooted cutting that had some little weird baby leaves grow, and ever since then it has just thrived so much, and I'm about it. So this is just one stem, so it's getting really long. I am honestly going to cut it right here eventually and propagate it to give it some good roots and put it back into the planter to make it more full. I'm scared though, because it's just such a beautiful plant and it's just so quick. It literally grows so fast. I love it. You can see a new little leaf about to unfurl. Lastly, guys, here it is, the last plant. And actually, I take back what I said a little bit earlier, because this does have brown edges and it is more finicky, but there's nowhere else I can put it. So for right now, it's staying here. This is my Stromanthe Trio Star that I got from my collective Facebook unboxing. I know it's not the sexiest looking plant right now, but like all Calatheas, Synganthe, and Stromanthe, there's nothing like the foliage of these plants and how it literally looks like watercolor and airbrushed and drawn. I particularly love the Trio Star because it has pink, purple, white, light green, and dark green in its foliage, along with its purple and pink back. You can see the pink right there. So there's a lot of new growth coming out and I love it. But guys, this is all the plants in this little area. Sorry, I had to clean off some stuff right there, but this is all of the plants in this section. That is it, guys. We are done. We are done with the whole houseplant apartment tour. I have collected about 70 babies now, 70 babies that I all love to the fullest of my being, and I'm so happy I got to share my collection and this new space with you guys. For next week's video, it will be an unboxing from my favorite YouTube influencer role model ever. If you can guess in the comments below who she is, hint, she specializes in rare plants, let me know and I will tell you guys if you're right or not, but stay tuned for that. Again, love, love, love you guys so much, and yeah, I'm just grinning ear to ear. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video.